Hello everyone. This is the continuation of chapter 2, Nationalism in India. The last slide we had discussed about civil disobedience. So we are continuing this. That is how participants saw the civil disobedience movement in countryside. So civil disobedience movement was being taken up by rich farmers and landlords, poor peasants in the countryside. So they participated in CDM, that is civil disobedience movement, to fight against the high revenue uh, asked by the Britishers. Then price of agricultural goods, which was very less, they were not getting the price, good price for the produced production, and thus there was resentment, there was anger against the government for this rich, even the rich farmers and the landlords were angry against the government, that is the British government. So they were fighting for Swaraj. For them, civil disobedience movement means fighting against high revenue and price of agricultural goods. That is a non cooperation movement. Also, each section or each group of people had their own notion, own ideas. The same way, civil disobedience also had its own notion, own ideas. That is, rich farmer and the poor peasants also had their own way of civil disobedience movement. So they were fighting against high revenue. So they were fighting for Swaraj. They did not participate in civil disobedience movement when it was relaunched in 1931. So how did they basically do the civil disobedience is, we discussed in the last slide, that is not obeying the government, breaking the laws. So even the poor peasants, they also participated in civil disobedience movement, that is CDM, to fight against the high revenue. The same case for high revenue. Poor peasants wanted the unpaid rent of the land they work to be remitted. That is, poor peasant didn't have their own land, they were not landlords, so they had to work on rich peasants or the Britishers' land. They had to hire the land and they had to work on it, and they had to pay rent for that hired land. So what these poor peasants wanted, they wanted these unpaid rents which were there due to the crisis of monsoon crisis, or you can say due to the agricultural crisis. They were unable to pay the rent, as they didn't have money. They could not pay the rent, or as the rent was too high for them to pay. So they wanted this unpaid rent to be remitted, means leave off the unpaid rent. So they were fighting for that. Here the movement was led by radicals who adopted the violent means. Means the poor peasants took up violent means in this civil disobedience movement. Therefore, Congress was unwilling to support the poor peasants. As Gandhiji had started the civil disobedience movement, Gandhiji's notion or idea was non-violence, and these poor peasants adopted violence. So Congress didn't wanted to go against Gandhiji, therefore they were unwilling to support the poor peasants. This is regarding the countryside. Participation of civil disobedience in towns. Industrial owners, rich peasants formed FICCI. So now this is in towns. In towns also there were peasants, rich peasants and industrial owners who formed FICCI, which means Federation of the Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industries. That is, all the industrialists together formed a committee or an association or an organization to fight against the Britishers for their high revenue, for their less cost for agricultural goods. So they made this association. So they participated in civil disobedience movement as they wanted protection against imported products, and increase their production. That is, as we saw in countryside, they fought for high revenue and also the agricultural goods price, they wanted more price. So here they wanted protection against the imports. Britishers, what did they do? They took the raw materials from India and sent it to England. There they produced in the industries and sent back to India, and they sold it, that is they imported it in India and sold it in a high price and took the profit. They wanted this to be stopped. That is, they wanted protection against the imports that British people did, imported the products from England and increase their production. Okay, they wanted to increase their industrial production, and so they wanted to stop this import. Important industrial leaders were G.D. Birla, Purushottam Das, Thakur Das. So this you have to remember. That is, this also FICCI is 1 mark question. And who are the industrial leaders of FICCI? That is G.D. Birla and Purushottam Das, Thakur Das. So when CDM was relaunched, they did not participate. Who even in countryside did not participate, even in town side did not participate. Thus, owners as well as the workers participated in CDM for their own purposes. That is, as in the last video we discussed that CDM was stopped because Irwin gave Gandhiji an offer of round table conference. He went there, he stopped this civil disobedience, and he went to round table conference to London. Right, when he came back to India, he was disappointed because British didn't give them any solution and many leaders were arrested. To retaliate that, he relaunched CDM in 1931. So 1930 CDM ended, relaunch was done on the next year itself, 1931, but it had no momentum. Nobody participated in, neither in the countryside nor in the town side, neither the industrialists nor the landlords nor the poor peasants. So the women's participation in this CDM was CDM and NCM. Women also participated in non-cooperation movement and civil disobedience movement. They protested again and participated in Dandi March, manufactured salt, and even went to jail. For women, participating in nationalist movement was a sacred duty. Means it was a whole, you can say they set it as a pure duty or a holy duty. So, but Gandhiji's view was that women's first duty was towards her home, children, family, husband, and all. So he didn't oppose the women to fight against Britishers, but he did not encourage them to. So women's presence was only symbolic in the movement. Then limitations of civil disobedience. Why success failed in civil disobedience? Why there was no success found in civil disobedience movement? This can come as limitation of civil disobedience, or why did civil disobedience fail? Question can arise like this. So basically, congressmen did not wanted to include the poor and the Dalits in civil disobedience movement, as they were afraid that rich and Brahmins would not fund them for their movement if they supported the poor and Dalits. That is, it is obvious that rich people were against the poor and the Brahmins were against the Dalits. Dalits are the SCs and STs. Okay, so congressmen felt that if this take these poor and Dalits in CDM, Brahmins and rich people will not give money to fund their party. That is, a party to run successfully, for a movement to take place, they needed money. Money was quite important. So they felt that if they stop funding, rich farmers and the Brahmins stop funding them, then they couldn't work against British. So they literally did not include poor and Dalits. Thus Dalits stayed away from CDM and organized themselves and demanded reserve seats and political empowerment under leadership of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Political empowerment means political seats they wanted, political work they wanted. In the assembly, council, they wanted some seats. So they demanded for reserved seats, as we have reservation system now. So that was the demand which had started during CDM. And political empowerment they wanted, which was done under Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and demanded for separate electorate. Separate electorate here means that just like Pakistan, Jinnah had asked for separate country or separate electorate, the same way B.R. Ambedkar also asked for separate electorate. Gandhiji felt that if now this is being asked, then they might ask for a separate country also. So Gandhiji did not agree with this and started fasting against this want of B.R. Ambedkar of separate electorate. Separate electorate means voting power, separate voting power. In response to the fasting of Gandhiji, there was a negotiation between Gandhiji and B.R. Ambedkar. B.R. Ambedkar duly respected Gandhiji, so he came to a negotiation which was called as Pune Pact. And this is again one mark question, Pune Pact, in September 1932, which gave reservations to Dalits in various sectors. That is, according to Pune Pact, Gandhiji said that we will not have a separate country or reservations or political empowerment. We will give them separate electorate. That is, we will not ask for a separate country, they said, according to Pune Pact, which gave reservations to Dalits in various sectors. There were Hindu-Muslim conflicts also. Now you can see here Gandhiji and B.R. Ambedkar are fighting for some issues. They're literally not fighting, it is differences between in some issues. So, and also there were Hindu and Muslim conflicts. There were religious organizations set up like Hindu Mahasabha and Muslim League, which did not help for the success of CDM, that is civil disobedience movement. Thus, these difference between individuals, that is Gandhi and Ambedkar, groups like Harijan and Brahmins. Harijan is none but Dalits. Gandhiji called Dalits as Harijan. Then Muhammad Ali Jinnah and M.R. Jaikar were the main cause for failure of civil disobedience movement. Here Muhammad Ali Jinnah asked for separate country, that is Pakistan, and M.R. Jaikar was against that. If he was against that, and he said that if they are asking separate country, so we being in south, we'll also have a separate country. So they also had fights. So during civil disobedience movement, many of them had difference of opinions. So basically this CDM failed. These are the limitations. Now, the last topic, the section subtopic is a sense of collective belonging. Now, how did this sense of collective belonging emerge in India? Now, there were so many fights, so many diversities, so many religions, culture. Now, how did this came up? How did this nationalism came up, and how did we literally fight for freedom struggle unitedly? That are factors that arose sense of nationalisms were united struggle. Whenever there was struggle, all Indians were united. Whether it is Hindu, Muslim, Brahmin, poor, rich, Harijan, so they united and fought. The common history was one of the factor. The fictions, the songs, folklores, prints and symbols all played a part in increasing nationalism. That is, symbols in the sense the charakha, the prints are the Indian flag or Bharat Mata, the folklores are the songs which are based on nation, etc., etc. So India's identity was associated by Bharat Mata's image, which was portrayed in 1870 by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay. So again, this is one mark question, please note it down. And also wrote Vande Mataram. Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay wrote Vande Mataram. Another name of creating a feeling of nationalism, another means of creating feeling of nationalism was through reinterpretation of history. As we all know, as we have studied in 8th grade and lower classes, that Britishers interpreted his Indian history according to their own wish and will. That is, they said that Indians are uncivilized people, they are you can say superstitious, etc. So that thing had to be changed. British Indian history had to be rewritten by the Indians. British had written Indian history, that had to be rewritten by Indians, which was a success and had a great sense of collective belonging. So these are the factors that gave a sense of collective belonging or sense of nationalism to our Indian people. So the last subtopic, which is in few textbook it has been given and few textbook which has not been given, but still let's discuss it, that is Quit India movement. The last movement of Gandhiji was Quit India movement, which was on 8th August 1942. Also called as August movement. So here Cripps mission was headed by Stafford Cripps. So there was a mission which was being introduced in India, according to which Indians were recruited as soldiers forcefully in Second World War. This was opposed by Gandhiji and other leaders. They didn't wanted this to happen again. That is, as in First World War, many they were recruited. The same way they didn't wanted this to happen again. So Gandhiji opposed this. Gandhiji gave the slogan "Do or Die." It was called to force the British to leave India. 550 posts, 250 railway stations, 2,500 telegraph wires were cut off and burnt, and many lots of damage was been caused. It was launched at Bombay session of All India Congress Committee. But the movement was crushed by British, and it announced that after Second World War, British would leave the country. That is, after Second World War, Second World War ended around 1945, and after 2 years they left the country. So this was all about nationalism in India. Hope so it is clear. If you want to recap anything, you can go to my link, which is being given in the description. Previous, after, whatever doubts you have, you can ask me in the comment section. Please like, share and subscribe. This is the end of the chapter, Nationalism in India. Thank you.